Howdy guys, how's it going? Roughneck81 here. Today I'm excited to bring y'all a new kind of video series I'm going to try working on here. For this video I'm going to be making sort of a win breakdown series. Essentially what I want to do is provide a video of you guys and kind of give y'all a breakdown and step by step of how we got to that win. We all know getting wins in Warzone is hard enough. So hopefully I can provide kind of some tips and tricks for you guys that might help you out in your future games. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video.
So this is the first win we're going to take a look at here. We're jumping a little ways into the match. We're already on third circle and we've moved into downtown. Me personally, I don't like running in downtown, so we're already trying to figure out a way to get out of it. And that's why we're kind of staying on the edge of downtown. So as you can see here, I went ahead and taken high ground. When you're in downtown, it's always a good idea to try and get high ground if you can, since most people like to try and camp roofs and stuff. So whenever you climb up on these buildings, obviously check around your surroundings to make sure no one else is around you. But it's always good to have different teammates at different angles, so that way you're not all bunched together and you can see different things and be able to call out where enemy players are. Here I've noticed some shots pinging up on the map over here. I went ahead and marked it. That's not necessarily meaning that I'm going to go ahead and push them. That's just letting me and my teammates know that there are enemies within that area. So when we go to move out of here, we at least know that there's some guys around that particular section. So when we push out, we can look and see if there's anybody making their way to us.
Well, we need to push. We need
Where?
to push over.
You want to push across?
Grab that bounty. Yes, we need to cross.
Yeah.
Okay. So once we've noticed where the next circle is going to be closing down, one of my guys is already pointing out where we need to rotate to. It's always good to be thinking far ahead before the next circle starts closing as far as where you want to move to and get a good position. If you look at over here, we've noticed that we're going to need to push to the port area. If at all possible, try and push along the edges of the circle. That way you know at least one side of you is going to be covered and you're not going to have enemies on that way, and you can focus on a certain other side.
I got a precision already. There's a buy right here if y'all want to get perks or selfs or...
And before we make this push, we're in a relatively safe area, so we can make sure we're loaded up, we've got ammo, we've got plates, all that stuff. I looked down and I noticed that me and some of my fellow teammates don't have self-revives. And we also want to make sure we have perks and stuff before we make this push. Basically, whenever you're going to be pushing into an open area, it's always a chance that you're going to get shot at from a distance. And when you don't have any cover, it's really hard to fight back. So a good thing to have is some clusters or some precisions and be able to throw on them to kind of give you a chance to escape if need be.
I'd rather the team.
That's
be
fine, that's fine.
successful.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now that right there is a noble sacrifice. One of my buddies realized that he could either get a selfie or he could get a perk. He didn't have enough money for both. He went ahead and decided to get a perk because he knows we're going to be pushing into that open area and that a cluster might be more beneficial to the whole team than just him getting a selfie. Now we're pretty sure that there's nobody to our left over in the downtown area immediately next to us, but we're really worried about people being in port on our right. So that's why we're using this fence line and the ravine down below as cover from people on our right-hand side.
Oh, right in front of us, right in front of us, right in front of us, Cap, up to your right.
Now right here, I've noticed there's an enemy dead ahead of us. When you hear me call out Cap to your right, what's really important about that is I'm not just saying, hey guys, right here, right here, right here. It's always important to point out where enemies are to your teammates relative to their position and your position. So one thing I like to do sometimes is I look on my mini map and I notice where my teammates are running to and where their little arrow is pointing to. So I know what direction they're oriented to. So as the enemy is in front of me, I've looked and noticed that my orange marked teammate is farther ahead, so the enemy is going to be to his right. So instead of me just calling out, hey, there's a guy in front of me, I'm also pointing out to him that there's an enemy to his right.
Where is that at?
At the top of Big
Big
Red.
blue.
Big Blue.
Again, you have my teammates here, they're noticing other players and they're pinging them and they're pointing them out. It's a lot easier for you to know where enemies are instead of just saying right here, right here. They're also calling out Big Red. That's the name that we've given one of those big buildings that's down there in port. Eventually, if you play the game enough, you'll be able to give certain names to certain buildings throughout the map. And if you play with certain people enough, they're going to know what you're talking about when you use those specific names.
Nice, get him.
That guy just jumped off the back. He just jumped off the back. He's gonna throw.
Now here, as you can see, the storm is starting to close down on us a little bit, and we're still not in a very ideal position. We've broke several of those guys up there, even downed one, and I've put a precision on them, which has forced them to move from their position. Once you disorient an enemy team like that, it's always best to try and move to a different position to get a different flank on them. If you're sitting in the same spot and just shooting at them over and over again, they know where you're at and they're going to be able to continuously peek at that. But if you're constantly moving, they're going to have a harder time finding you, and it's going to benefit you in the fight coming up. Now, one of my teammates went ahead and pushed up to the building. Again, as long as you're all focused on the same area, it's not a bad idea to split up a little bit and flank.
God.
Now at this point we've noticed that the team has moved to the bottom of this building. Darcy's just been killed. I just got into a fight with another teammate, so I know that there are multiple people down there. It's probably not a good idea for me to just rush in there, so I'm taking a different position in the spot where they're not expecting me to be at. Now again, from this point here, I'm moving positions, I'm putting myself in different spots where the enemy's not going to expect me to be. That's a big part in winning a lot of these fights. If you get too tunnel visioned and stay in one spot too long, the enemy's going to know where you're at and be able to continuously poke that area. These guys have no idea that I've moved into the second floor window and I'm right above them.
Down low, first floor.
Now you notice in that particular fight as well, I was outnumbered 2-1. However, as I'm shooting, I'm ducking, I'm trying to stray things side to side a little bit. If you're sitting there shooting at someone and you're standing completely still, you're going to be an easy target for them. However, if you're drop shotting, jumping, strafing from side to side, that's going to mess up their aim assist a little bit and it's going to make you a harder target to hit.
Go broken. Gosh dang, he's behind this fence somewhere right here. He's bro.
On green ping.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Again, we have my teammates still consistently pinging and calling out where players are at exactly. One of my guys is in a fight with a singular player. This other player has no idea that I'm over here, but I know where he's at, and according to my teammate, he's got him broke. And seeing where the circle's at, there's a really good chance there's not really anybody directly to my right. So as long as I stay along this fence line, it's actually beneficial to me to try and push this guy and see if we can get the finishing kill.
He's down. I'm pushing him.
Now, one thing to remember in fights like these, if you down a guy like that and he doesn't go down right away, there's a chance that he's got to self-revive. So whenever you get it down, if it's possible for you and you have a safe route to get to him, it's really beneficial to try and push and get the finishing kill. Otherwise, he's just going to self-revive and be right back in the fight.
Gas station guy, one of them jumped off like he's pushing over.
Again, I'm looking at the enemy. I'm consistently calling out exactly where they're at and exactly what direction they're pushing to. Again, when I've noticed that the airstrike's been thrown on them, I know that they're going to be disoriented a little bit, and that's going to give me a chance to move. That's my cue.
Footsteps on me. Footsteps on me.
That might be me.
Multiple.
Got it.
All on
They're
top.
above me.
Here, my teammate's calling out that he's got footsteps on him. I know what teammate that is. I know what marker he is. So I'm looking at the mini-map. I'm seeing where he's at. So I know that where he is, there's an enemy jumping around somewhere. Luckily, one of my other guys found him and took him out.
Dars, why don't you land and get his stuff? Yeah.
A lot of times in this late game, when you buy a teammate back, obviously they're not going to have their guns, but we remember that we just killed a guy right there and that he probably dropped some weapons for her. So we're marking it and letting her know that she can drop in and get those weapons to use.
Okay, I'm going to try and get like right here. There's cover right there. I don't think there's anybody behind us.
Again, here I'm looking at the map, I'm looking at the mini-map, I'm seeing where the circle is going to rotate and where I think the enemy teams are. At this point, I'm pretty sure that the team at the gas station, and there's probably some guys still in downtown. The position that I've marked right there, I know that there's going to be a lot of cover there from both sides, so that's going to be an advantageous spot for me to not only already be in circle, but be able to have cover. Again, we're dropping money to get perks, to get plates, things like that. It's always good to look at your teammates and see what they have so that you can help them out and get them better prepared for a fight. That's going to help you out in the long run as well.
Oh, I need AR.
I'm about to make a push into an open area, so I'm checking all my angles as best I can before I make the move instead of just sprinting over there.
I got shot from the right.
Oh, my sniper.
I'm not going to use
Hey,
that.
gas station area.
So here an enemy shot at me from that general direction where I think it's the gas station area, and I'm letting my teammates know where the shot came from in a general location. That way they know that they can look in that particular area and try and cover me.
Sure. Surrendering. Move.
I got one dead.
Oh my god. You just got a team fight.
Again here, my buddy's done a cluster down and gotten an awesome team wipe. So because I pointed out to my teammates earlier where I think I was getting shot at, they were able to find the guys that were there and start putting shots on them. All of that was because I was able to locate where I thought the enemy was, hear where the shot came from me, and be able to point out to them an exact location of where the enemy was.
What? Oh, hey,
Oh,
right
come on,
here.
left.
Yep. Right in front of us, y'all. Right behind this wall.
So at this point here, I know that an enemy was pushing to that particular spot, and it was the spot that I was originally going for. Once you get into a situation like this, you're kind of out of luck. So even though I'm dead right now, it's still beneficial of me to be watching the mini-map and watching my teammates and be able to make call-outs as best I can. You don't want to be talking too much because you don't want to overlap your teammates being able to communicate to each other. But if you have something beneficial to say, go ahead and chime in.
Dead silence.
Sometimes when your teammates are kind of tunnel visioned into a fight, they'll forget sometimes about perks or other tactical tools they might have, like stuns or dead silences. So right here, my buddy was about to make a push and he had a dead silence and may have forgotten about it. So once I reminded him that he had it, he was able to pop that and make his push a lot easier on the player in front of him.
2v2.
As I'm just spectating now, I'm able to look up in the top right and be able to see exactly how many teams and how many players are left. So once my buddy got that kill, I was able to look up and notice that there's only 2 teams and 4 players left, and call out to them that they only have 2 other guys left to fight.
He's on the roof of the gas station here.
One of the guys was able to find out where the other 2 guys were at the gas station, which he called out. So both of my guys, even though they're split up right now, that's perfectly fine. That means that they're going to be able to get 2 different angles on where this team is, and since that one team is located in one particular spot, that's extremely beneficial to them.
Play it smart, Cap, because Chris can get them when they run off.
They've noticed here that the gas is going to force them off of the gas station, so they're not going to be able to stay there. So they were essentially waiting for them to make the move, and then they would be able to react to wherever they decided to run to.
Down one, down one. Oh, the other one's up top. Right behind.
Yes, let's go! We got another one. Cap with the core.
And that's how you get the Warzone victory. Basically, we were able to get this win because we were thinking ahead of where the circle was going to be moving to and putting ourselves in advantageous positions. Sometimes it's not always best to run right with the gas as it's coming in, because if you get caught in a firefight and the gas is right behind you, a lot of times you're screwed, because you're having to constantly run from the gas and shoot at the same time. Whereas if you're ahead of it and you're already in position, you're able to fight from a better vantage point. Another main reason we were able to get a win right here at the end is because my 2 teammates actually split up and were able to get 2 different angles on the last enemy team, showing that it's not always beneficial to be grouped up together, but constantly moving and constantly changing your position in relation to where the enemy team is what's going to give you the advantage in a lot of these fights.
Ooh, that was a fun one, guys. Coming up here pretty soon, hopefully. I've got another win in the books here that had a pretty crazy ending, so I'm really hoping I can get to show you guys and break that one down for you as well, coming up here in the next few days. If you guys could, let me know in the comments below. Do you find this kind of video helpful? Is this something you want me to continue doing in the future, you know, if it's beneficial for you guys? So make sure to leave comments below and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video. Things like that always help out with that weird YouTube algorithm. It's going to help get my videos out to other people to see. Also, don't forget to check out my other channels. We've got my Facebook group, Roughneck81 Stream HQ. On Instagram, you can find me at Roughneck81. Twitch is twitch.tv/Roughneck81. And also, guys, don't forget to check out ArrayGaming.com. It's a company I'm affiliated with. They've got some really cool gaming apparel on their website. So if you guys happen to stop by and check it out and find anything you might like, when you go to check out in their store, make sure to put in the code Roughneck81 to get a 10% discount on everything you buy. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Appreciate everybody stopping by and hope you have a good rest of your day. Take it easy.